Hello, all, and welcome to the pilot episode of Tea and Tabletops, the show where I make a cup of tea and talk about a tabletop game. If it goes well, my hope is for this to be a new series on the channel and to put my total videos up to 2 a week, though we'll see if I can hold up to that. For our first week, wait, I'm missing something. Ah, there we go. Much better. Now, where was I? Ah, right. For our first week, we're going to talk about my first ever board game, Carcassone. Carcassone is a tile-laying European-style board game for 2 to 5 players. It was made by Klaus-Jürgen Reid and published by Rio Grande Games. In Carcassone, players place land tiles and develop their followers to work the land. As the game progresses, the roads, cities, and fields and cloisters emerge to grow and build the titular city. Players score points throughout the game, and at the end, for their followers. The players with the most points after everything has been scored is the winner. To prepare the game, place players to prepare the game, place the starting tile, marked with the black back and white letter, to distinguish from the white back and black lettered land tiles, face up in the center of the board. Shuffle the land tiles and stack them face down in face-down stacks as draw piles. Place the scoring track to the side and place a follower meeple from each player in the zero space. Each player then places the remaining 7 followers in front of them as their supply. Designate a starting player, chosen by any method, though I suggest going by the prettiest person at the table. On your turn, you draw a new land tile and place it on any legal place on the board. Once a tile is placed, you may play a meeple onto that tile. Once a tile is placed and a player has chosen whether or not to place a follower on it, check if the placement has finished any cloisters, roads, and or cities. If it has, score them. Once all that is done, the player's turn ends and the next player takes their turn going clockwise around the board. If there is no legal placement for a tile, discard it to the box and draw a replacement tile. A tile must match the tiles placed next to it. City segments must match with city segments. Fields must match with fields. And roads must match with roads. When deploying a follower, you must choose one of 4 options, depending on what space is available on the tile you just placed. You may only deploy 1 follower per turn, and it must come from your supply. You may deploy a follower in any of these 4 options. Knights are placed upright in a city segment. They earn 2 points if the city is completed, or 1 point per segment of it at the end. Thieves are placed on road segments. They earn 1 point per road tile when the road is completed, or when the game ends. Monks are placed upright on a cloister. They earn 1 point per tile connected to the cloister, including the tile itself. when closed, or when the game ends. And finally, we have farmers. Farmers are laid side down on the board. They score 2 points per completed city in their field at the end of the game. You may not place a follower in a city, road, or field that already has a person on it, even if it is your own person. Once a follower is placed, they remain until they are scored or the game ends. If multiple players manage to put a follower in the same city, road, or field, and then close it, the player with the most followers in a location, I'm just gonna dig for pieces, don't mind me. I actually made this kind of hard to close. Wins. So in this scenario, yellow would take the city. However, if there is a tie, both players gain the points for that city, and all meeples are returned to the followers pile. Points are scored after a tile is placed, and the active player decides if they would like to place a follower. This means that if you would close a city or a road, and would immediately score points, you may gain those points and then advance your score, and then instantly gain back your follower. The game ends when the final land tile is placed. Tally up all remaining followers and their points. Once that's done, and then the points for farmers, so 2, 4, 6. Once that's done, whoever has the most points wins. Much like Settlers of Catan, Carcassonne is what's often called a Eurogame. Eurogames are a genre of tabletop/board games with a focus on indirect player interaction, often through economy or resource management, rather than direct confrontation. Because of this, Carcassonne in particular tends to be more about indirect counterplay, stranding opponents' followers by making cities, roads, or cloisters impossible to finishing a road early to shorten the amount of points it earns, and trap farmers in fields that connect to few or even no cities with clever road and city placements. One of the best things about Carcassonne, in my opinion, is that it's simple. It's super easy to explain the rules, and as a game, it is almost entirely visual, meaning that it's easy to understand that you put the road next to the road, and the city next to the city, and the field next to the field. And yet, it's strategic enough that it's complicated and takes time to learn. As mentioned earlier, this game has a very special place in my heart. It was the first board game that I owned, and the first one that I really played beyond American Dream Simulator and Political Statement, the game. And it's the game that made me fall in love with playing board games. So, of course, if I'm gonna do a show about board games, this has to be episode 1. It is a very good game and very worth playing. I hope you all enjoyed this different style of content. Gaming videos will be returning Friday, and until then, good luck, stay safe, and don't die.